in the markets, Americans are already feeling the squeeze from high prices. And now ExxonMobil is warning that tightening global energy supplies are here. The company's senior vice president, Neil Chapman, has a new price warning, folks. Here's what he's saying. He says, we're approaching unheard of inventory levels. I mean, really, really low levels. You can debate whether that's going to hit those low levels in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but once you get to that point, then you'll see prices shoot up. What does this mean for you? I'm pleased to bring in two experts right now. Tim Descher, executive director at Unleash Prosperity. He's also a former George W. Bush White House official. Also with us today, Jay Young, founder of CEO of King Operating Corporation, the author of The Upside of Oil and Gas Investing. All right, let's boil it down because obviously it sounds very bad. He's talking about Brent, though, not West Texas Intermediary. I mean, I'm going to start with you, Jay, because all people want to know is when are prices going to go down? How is it going to impact me? They're obviously, you know, trying to put food on the table, raise their families. You hear something like this. Is it as dire as he's saying?
I think so, Bianca. I mean, we've got such a shortage in oil right now. I mean, at one time, the world was producing 100 million barrels a day, and we were consuming it. I mean, it's like it was just a zero-sum game. Now, today, we're only producing 80 to 90 million around the world, and we're still consuming 100. So we're seeing such a shortage of oil, not including all the strategic reserves that every country has at this point. All their inventories are going away. We've lost like 1 billion barrels of oil around the world. And I hate to sound gloom, and I wish there was more positive. I look for the positives. I can't find the positives. I mean, we're not producing enough. We're sucking down all of our strategic reserves. Where are we going to get the oil?
You know,
especially
I think you're being
demand.
A realist. Right. I think you're being a realist. It's not doom and gloom like we see a lot of the folks on, you know, Wall Street. It's a problem, Tim. You know, the U.S. has this advantage. We have a lot of resources. But to Jay's point and to where we're at now with the war dragging on, what really is realistic, and how do you get the facts straight for people who are looking at this saying, I want to make sure that I can afford prices, a sudden jump in oil, small businesses. I mean, this could impact diesel, jet fuel, trucking, all of this.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is the consumer is still very strong at this point. You got to look at all the other economic factors that you have playing into this. The one big beautiful bill is spurring a lot of investment. Wages are growing. So while yes, the oil problem is an absolute problem, you have to weigh out the other economic factors as well that we are seeing. And again, strong consumers, strong profits. You know, strong hiring, strong wages. So take that into effect. But however, this is real. You know, you're seeing you know, UAE leaving OPEC so they can produce an additional 2 to 3 million more barrels. You know, you see that. You see Venezuela opening those floodgates that, you know, were languishing because of communists not really knowing how to manage their oil fields. You know, as the U.S. comes in there and sort of brings that more online, you can start to see that. But again, that's far off, and you have to do that. The bottom line is you got to end, you know, Iran's chokehold point on the Strait of Hormuz. Or you have to figure out another way through, whether it's making sure that southern channel that runs near Oman is safe, that ships can get through. The U.S. military is going to have an active role. And by the way, our allies are going to have an active role in this. President says no nuclear weapons. He's going to have to stick to that.
Wow. Yeah. So a lot of this, obviously, economic is tied to the military strategy, which complicates a lot of things because Middle East obviously is very complicated. Diplomacy. Jay, back to you. So when you look at that, and you heard today Iran saying we're going to threaten another waterway. From Tim's point here, that's on the other side near Yemen, where they have a pipeline that's going over land. So it doesn't seem like the Strait of Hormuz is the only point now that Iran wants to bring into the conflict and the fray.
Yeah, exactly, Bianca. And I'll tell you one thing, when they start shutting wells in, which they've been doing that for the last several months, they've been shutting a lot of wells in. And when you turn those wells back on, I mean, I can say this personally, you know, here in the States as well, when you have high-powered oil and gas wells that run on pressure, that run on oil, water situations, when you turn those wells back on, these wells don't just come on back on like a faucet. these wells may come on at 50, 60% capacity, maybe 80% in some cases, but they don't come back on like normal. So we're going to have to find oil from other places. And Tim made a good point about where that oil could be, the Venezuela or other places, but we're going to have to replace that oil somewhere. OPEC's not the answer.
Tim,
can I also, just really quick.
Real quick, Tim.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, you talk about Exxon. They have said over and over again, we're ready to go in the North Sea in the UK. They have billions and billions of barrels ready to go there. This is the kind of thing that happens when you have anti-growth policy over years and years and years, setting you back from a situation just like this. You got to be more proactive and let companies like Exxon say, hey, this is where we need to go.
I'll tell you one thing. At least Exxon is ringing the alarm bells, not mincing words here. So we know what's coming and how to prepare, hopefully. Tim, Jay, appreciate both of your expertise, and we'll see, of course, where the diplomatic solutions may come in the next few days. Thanks, guys.